Hello, hello everybody. How are you doing? Hello, hello guys. Good afternoon, everybody.
Hi, teacher.
Hi, teacher.
Hello, how are you, Francisco? Hello guys, how are you doing?
Teacher, I had a problem yesterday
Yes.
because I was doing the test and la luz se fue.
The lights went out. You had
And the
a
test,
blackout. I see.
and o sea, se guardó solamente creo que los poquitos de intentos que pude hacer, pero, o sea, claro, la nota no es muy alta, por lo que no pude acabar, pero no,
It
no sé si
doesn't matter.
importa eso.
No, don't worry. Don't worry. It's okay. It's okay. As I was telling you, the grade doesn't matter. Okay, the grade doesn't matter. This is just like a general diagnosis test, and it will also serve to establish a contrast because we will probably have a similar test by the end of the course. Okay, so it doesn't matter if you weren't able to do it well. Plus, a lot of the things that were in there you aren't really supposed to know yet. Muchas de las cosas que estaban en el test, de todas maneras, no se supone que las conozcan todavía. Entonces, por eso les decía, no importa en realidad que les vaya bien o mal. It doesn't matter if you didn't get a good grade in this. Y en este caso en particular, in this particular case, don't worry about the blackout. No se preocupe por el apagón y por no haber podido terminar. Con que quede registrado que lo hicieron, eso es todo. Ni siquiera voy a chequear sus notas de momento, ¿sí? O sea, lo único que importa es que esté realizado, que esté hecho. That's the only thing that matters, okay?
Okay.
Okay, that's it, Lena. Right. All right. Let's continue then. So, we were speaking about time expressions, during. One more time. How do you say in English? Desde?
Since.
Yes, very good. That's the pronunciation I like. Very good. Very good. Correct. Okay, guys. So let me just set this up for a second. Just a second here until we have it all ready. And yeah, that's right. Desde, since. But there is also another way of saying desde. What is another way of saying desde that is not since?
From.
Exactly, from. Correct. Very good. So remember, if you're speaking about places, if you're speaking about space, you're going to be using from always, right? Yeah, she came from Norway. Ella vino desde Noruega. De o desde, from. But if we're speaking about time, we can also use from in some cases. Remember that we use from and to, right? As some of you said yesterday, if you have an initial point and then an ending point for a period, you say from and to. For example, we have classes from Monday to Tuesday. She was there from 2 o'clock to 6 o'clock, things like that. Okay, good. That word lasted from 1939 to 1945. Okay, but also since if we only have the beginning, right, and we're not speaking about the end point of a certain lapse of a certain period in time. Like, for example, desde los 60, since the 60s, pero desde los 60 hasta los 70, from the 60s to the 70s, right? Desde 1984, since 1984, desde 1984 hasta 1987, from 1984 to 1987, things like that. All right, so don't forget about that. Good. Now, just a second here. Let's continue. I'm sorry, the book is a little bit slow today. Sometimes that happens. I'm in my virtual book here. Okay, great. Now, let me just share the screen with you. How is the connection today? Are you hearing me fine, or is it getting cut? Is it breaking down? Breaking up, I mean. Are you... It's okay? Are you hearing this well or not so much?
Not so much.
All right, I'm gonna stop the video too. Maybe that helps a little bit. You know, sometimes that helps a little bit. Just the video, and let's see. Can you see the book now? Yeah, you should be able to see the book right now. So let's go into this next page, and we have this, right? Word power. We're always going to be finding this section. We're always going to be encountering this section in the book. Now, question: how do you say in Spanish? How would you say in Spanish word power? How would you say that?
Poder de la palabra.
Exactly. Very good. Very good. And because sometimes that was perfect, but sometimes people translate it as palabra de poder o algo por el estilo, ¿no? Pero sí, el poder de la palabra sería lo correcto. ¿Cómo diríamos palabra de poder? How would you say that in English?
Can you repeat? I can hear you.
Yeah, sure. So, word power, el poder de la palabra, como muy bien dijo su compañera, like your classmate said, that was very good. Word power, el poder de la palabra. But how do you say palabra de poder?
Word of power.
Podría ser, pero más típicamente diríamos algo como power word, power word. So, keep that in mind. Keep that in mind that a lot of times when you have two words that are very closely related in English, I mean, related in the sense that they are intimately associated, relacionadas en el sentido de que están en ese contexto íntimamente asociadas, pues en esos casos el orden entre el inglés y el español es distinto. In those cases, sometimes the order between Spanish and English is different. Okay, sometimes in those cases, the order between Spanish and English can be a little bit different. Like, for example, so yeah, let me make this a little bit bigger. If we say word power, like your classmate said, poder, el poder de la palabra. But if you say power, power word, then this would be palabra de poder. This shouldn't be capitalized. All right, very good. Now, this is the thing. Sometimes we have these. First of all, let's go with the relationship. And you know this, but anyway, let's go over it a little bit because sometimes I've seen mistakes with these when people write, and we're going to be trying to improve our writing as well. So keep this in mind. If you have a noun, what is the meaning of noun? What is the meaning of noun? Can you repeat that, please? What is the meaning of noun?
Sustantivo.
Yes, correct. Sustantivo. If you know that, write it. So when you have a noun and an adjective, of course, this is adjetivo, easy, right? So adjective and verb are easy to remember. Adjective, adjetivo, verb, verbo, because they are similar to what we say in Spanish. But noun is very different, right? Noun, it's a sustantivo. Okay, so when you have noun, adjective. So for example, how do you say this in English? Gato negro. How do you say that in English?
Black cat.
Black cat. Correct. So what is the order? So in Spanish, I said gato first. Oh, sorry, no gato. No estamos en la gato, estamos en la uda. All right. Gato negro. Okay, so. Gato negro. All right. We have, so in Spanish, we begin with gato, right? But in English, we begin with black, not with cat, right? So what you said is right. But notice, what kind of word is cat? Is it a noun, is it an adjective, or is it a verb? It's a noun, yeah? It's a noun. And what kind of word is, well, in this context, what kind of word is black? Is it an adjective, a noun, or a verb?
Adjective.
It's an adjective, that's right. However, well, colors can also be nouns in some cases. For example, if you say, I really like the color black, or I don't like green. I don't like, for example, in those cases, colors are nouns. But in many cases, like you say, adjectives. Like, for example, I have a green jacket. Jacket is the noun, green is the adjective. So in many cases, colors are adjectives. Like here, very well. So black is an adjective. And notice, in Spanish, we always use the noun first and then the adjective. But in English, the order is switched, right? Now, this doesn't mean that English speakers are speaking backwards. No significa que los gringos estén hablando al revés o algo por el estilo. It just means that both options, from a very objective and point of view, from the point of view of semantics and how they work, right? Both options would be correct. What we do in Spanish is fine, and what they do in English is fine. From the perspective of English speakers, we are speaking backwards. I mean Spanish speakers, right? Desde la perspectiva de un angloparlante, somos los que hablamos en español, los que estamos al revés, right? But that's it. So, yeah, that's right. In Spanish, exactly. In Spanish, we use nouns first, and then the adjectives. In English, we use adjectives first and then the nouns. Another example, this is easy, but anyway, another example. How would you say un libro excelente? How would you say this in English?
Excellent book.
That's right, an excellent book. Correct. So yeah, what kind of word is book?
Noun.
Very good. And what kind of word is excellent?
Adjective.
Adjective. That's right. So easy, right? In Spanish, we use the noun first and then the adjectives. But in English, we use the adjectives first and then the nouns. That's right. Very good. Now, what happens when we don't have a noun and an adjective? But what happens when we have two nouns? Noun, adjective, right? Just a second. But what happens when we have two nouns? And they are very closely related. For example, how would you say this in English? Jugo de naranja. How do you say that in English?
Orange juice.
Very good. What's that? Orange juice. Correct. Oops. There we go. Orange juice. That's right. So notice, what kind of word is naranja? Not the color, but the fruit. The fruit. What kind of word is naranja? What kind of word is orange? What kind of word is orange? Not the color. It's a noun. It's a noun. Yes. It is, in this case, it is a noun. If we're speaking about the color orange, that can be in some cases a noun and in many other cases an adjective, right? But if you're speaking about the fruit is a noun. Yeah? So orange is a noun, naranja es un sustantivo. And what about juice? What about jugo? What kind of word is this? What kind of word is juice?
Noun.
It's a noun. That's right. So we have two nouns in this case, right? Orange and juice. Let me just check the chat. So we have two nouns in this case, but notice that in Spanish, how do we connect two nouns that are very closely related? How many words do you see here in this little phrase? How many words?
3.
That's right. So in Spanish, in many cases, we are going to use 3 words for this when we establish a close relationship between two nouns, right? But in English, we only use 2 words, okay? Now, a very literal translation would be juice of orange, right? And this is, sorry, that's not orange. This is orange. So a very close translation would be this. And in some cases, we do say things like that. Just in some cases, but that's not the common thing to do in English, all right? En algunos casos sí hacemos algo como esto en inglés, ¿sí? Meter un off, que sería igualito al de del español en este caso, ¿no es cierto? Y eso es lo que tendemos a hacer los hispanohablantes al hablar en inglés, a hacer esa traducción, como esa traducción literal. Pero noten que esto muy rara vez me sirve en realidad, rara vez funciona. A veces, como en ciertas cosas poéticas o literarias, ¿sí? Suele usar. For example, there is a Metallica record that is called Master of Puppets. But that is not the very common way of saying this. Para decir el amo de los títeres, lo más típico en inglés sería decir puppet master. Sin embargo, la banda le puso ese nombre al disco para darle como un aire más literario y más dramático y más poético, ¿sí? Entonces, eso, cuando tenemos esa estructura más parecida a la del español, es eso, para darle drama, para darle, como digo, nuevamente, un aire más poético, más literario. That's right. Okay, it's just to make it like poetry, to make it dramatic, to make it more literally. I'm sorry, not literally, literary, okay? Para hacerlo más literario, literary. Okay, very good. But these two are not the common case. En la mayoría de los casos, in most cases, it's not common to use these, therefore it's not very used, okay? The typical thing would be just orange juice, puppet master, things like that. But notice, in Spanish, we use these, they, when we have two nouns that are closely related, but in English, usually we don't have the of. En inglés normalmente no usamos el of. And also notice the order of what we have here. Notice the order of what we have here. What did I say first in Spanish? What did I say first in Spanish? Jugo or naranja?
Jugo.
What did I say? Yeah. In Spanish, I said jugo first, right? In Spanish, I said jugo first. Sorry? Sorry, I didn't get that. But anyway, in English, what did I say first? Jugo or naranja in English?
Naranja.
Yes, in English, I said naranja first. I said orange. That's right. So the order when I have two nouns is also different in English, right? If I have noun and adjective, the order is different in English. It's the reversed order. For example, gato negro, black cat, no cat black, ¿no es cierto? Black cat. Libro excelente, excellent book, not book excellent, right? The same thing happens when you have two nouns, all right? Now, ¿qué pasaría si yo dijera esto? What happens if I say juice orange? And this is a mistake that a lot of people make. ¿Cómo le tradujéramos al español a juice orange?
Naranja.
Algo así, ¿no? Sería como decir naranja de jugo. Se me ocurre que esto podría servir a lo mejor porque tal vez hay naranjas que no son tan jugosas y otras a las que son más jugosas se les diría naranjas de jugo, pero se me ocurre eso solo hipotéticamente, ¿no? Pero claro, así sería. Entonces, juice orange sería como naranja de jugo, pero no es algo típico, ¿no es cierto? Right, so let's erase it. Now, I'm gonna make something that might be a little more typical, okay? And I want you to notice the difference. And this is gonna be for when you write and also for when you speak, of course. How do you say in English, gusano? Do you know? Does anybody know? How do you say gusano in English?
Worm.
Yep, worm. That's right. And do you know how to say seda? You know, the material. How do you say seda in English? Anybody knows? silk. Yep.
Silk.
Yes, correct. Very good. So we have worm and silk. Now, I'm gonna write something in English and you tell me what this means, okay? Okay, so let's translate the two, sorry. There we go. Let's translate the two into English. What is the meaning of silkworm?
Gusano de seda.
Gusano de seda. That's right, gusano de seda. And what is the meaning of worm silk?
Seda de gusano.
Seda de gusano. That's right, very good. So keep that in mind, okay? Don't forget that. So, the first word in English is not the same word in Spanish. The order is reversed. Okay? The order is reversed from the perspective of Spanish. From the perspective of Spanish. Okay. Yeah, that's right. That is the thing. So in both cases, when you have an adjective and a noun, and also when you have two nouns. And also notice that in Spanish, it is very common to use these words in between the two, right? De. In English, we have the word of, but it would be very strange to say worm of silk. Esto sí que no diría prácticamente nadie. Nobody's going to say this. Para decir gusano de seda, worm of silk, se podría entender en forma literal. Si ustedes lo dicen así, es posible que un nativo hablante lo entienda, pero no va a ser tan fácil. No es lo típico, no es lo que se usa. No suena tan bien, all right? Entonces, so what is correct in English is to just use the two words, and the order from the perspective of Spanish is reversed. So in Spanish, I say gusano first and seda later. But in English, I say silk first and then worm. Es como si dijera seda gusano, pero es el gusano de seda, ¿no es cierto? Right? So worm silk, al revés, pues, ¿no es cierto? Aquí dije primero worm, entonces por ende es como cuando en español diría segundo gusano. En inglés dije segundo seda, silk, en inglés digo primero seda. Y con el de al medio en español. All right, very good. Now, I'm thinking some songs are coming into my mind. Some songs are coming into my mind. There is this song that in English is called Calle de Amor, de o del Amor. Calle del Amor. How would you say this in English?
Love Street.
Yes, Love Street, correct. And yes, Love Street. And this is actually a song by The Doors. I don't know if you've ever heard it. Have you heard of The Doors with Jim Morrison when he was alive? Anyway, so Love Street, yeah, it's a song. It's a famous song. And this would be, like your classmate said very well, like she said, Love Street, Calle del Amor. Very good. It's a song by The Doors. Now, how would you say this? Amor callejero, amor de calle.
Street love.
Yes. Street love. And this is also a song. También hay una canción que se llama así. Just I don't remember. I don't remember who's this song by, but there is also a song called that. Okay, so notice that. We have this background thing. Not background, backwards. This backwards thing, backwards from the perspective of Spanish. But you know, a lot of times when we are speaking in English or in any language for that matter, there is a phenomenon that happens that is called negative transfer. Now, what is negative transfer? Negative transfer is when you say something in a second language, say something in a language that is foreign to you, that is your second language, just as if you were saying it in your native language. Es decir algo en el idioma, en su segunda lengua, por ejemplo, en este caso el inglés, tal como la diríamos en español. Y a veces eso no me funciona del todo. Por ejemplo, decir que, qué sé yo, gusano de seda es silk of worm, eso sería un negative transfer. Ahora, ese fenómeno, el decir algo tal como en mi idioma nativo, no siempre es un negative transfer. De hecho, en inglés, entre el inglés y el español hay mucho positive transfer. Positive transfer. ¿A qué me refiero con positive transfer? We have the great advantage that actually English and Spanish are very similar languages in many ways. So if I say, for example, estoy jugando fútbol con mis amigos, let's use some American English. I'm playing soccer with my friends. Word per word, this is exactly the same thing, right? The structure is the same. Estoy, I am. ¿No es cierto? Yo estoy, I am. Jugando, playing with ing. Football, soccer if you are American. Football if you're British, right? Never say soccer if you go to England because they hate that. So I'm playing soccer or football with, con, my, mis, friends, amigos. So word per word, the structure and the order are pretty much the same. So that is what is called positive transfer. That is when you say something in your second language, pretty much in the same way as you would say it in your native language, in your native tongue. Tal como lo dirían en su lengua nativa y funciona. But sometimes we have things like the negative transfer. Like, for example, I say, gusano de seda, and in English, I say something like worm of silk. And no native speaker is going to say this. Therefore, not a lot of people are going to understand you well if you say something like that, right? Eso sería un negative transfer, cuando decimos algo tal como lo diría en mi lengua nativa, pero resulta que en la segunda lengua que estoy aprendiendo no se dice con esa misma estructura, ¿sí? All right, so that is the thing. So we can have positive. Fortunately, we have a lot of positive transfer between Spanish and English, but we also get some negative transfer. Otro ejemplo de negative transfer sería lo que veíamos ayer un poquito, ¿no es cierto? Por ejemplo, tú y yo somos amigos desde el 2002. En español no está mal que lo digamos así, pero sí en inglés, you and I are friends since 2002. This is not very correct in English. No está muy correcto esto en inglés. Lo correcto sería you and I have been, hemos sido, you and I have been friends since 2002. Now, again, as I say, we have a lot of, afortunadamente, we have a lot of positive transfer between Spanish and English. There is also negative transfer in some cases. So this would be a typical case of negative transfer. Yes, questions? Anything you would like to add? Besides the piano? Anything you would like to add? Nothing else? All right, good. Let's do this a little bit more, just a little bit more. How do you say, I don't know, for example, how do you say in English, silla de metal? I'm thinking about that because I am sitting on one right now. How do you say this, silla de metal in English?
Metal chair.
Yes, exactly, metal chair, metal chair. Y si dijera yo algo como chair of metal, tal vez me entienda alguien por semántica, pero no es típico, entonces esto va a dificultar un poquito la comunicación. Lo normal en inglés sería metal chair. That's right. How do you say in English? Let's see. Libro de fantasía. How do you say that? Oops, sorry, I'm missing a... Yeah, that's right. Libro de fantasía. How do you say that in English?
Fantasy book.
Fantasy book.
That's right, very good. American English, fantasy book. British English, fantasy book. Yeah, good. And how do you say fantasía de libro? Puede ser también, ¿no? Una opción. How do you say that?
Book of fantasy.
Podría ser. O más típico, simplemente book fantasy. Book fantasy. Ajá. En realidad, book of fantasy se parecería más a fantasy book. ¿Sí? Right? So book fantasy es lo segundo, lo que en español usamos primero. ¿Sí? All right, very good. So, going back to why did I begin with all of this? Because of this. Word power, que de hecho contestaron muy bien, pero muchas veces he notado errores con eso, no con ustedes, sino en mi experiencia, but this was fine. So, word power, el poder de la palabra. Power word, palabra de poder. All right, very good. Very good. Okay, good. Great. Now let's go. Why did I say all of this? Because it was a good opportunity to clarify this and to avoid mistakes that people make when they speak and when they write. All right, and that you might make as well. But anyway, let's go back to the book. And so, word power, historic events. What is the meaning of historic events?
Eventos históricos.
Right, very good. So now let's take a look at the vocabulary that we have here on the left. A lot of these words are very similar to the words that we have in Spanish, therefore not so hard to remember, but not so easy either. Like, for example, what is the meaning of, let's go with the easy ones. What is the meaning of discovery?
Descubrimiento.
Uh-huh, very good. What is the meaning of election? Yes, election.
Elecciones.
Ajá, elección. That's right, very good. What is the meaning of, esto nos toca intensamente este rato. What is the meaning of epidemic?
Epidemia.
Ajá, y aunque no esté aquí, what is the meaning of pandemic? Yes, that's right, very good. What is the meaning of natural disaster?
Desastre natural.
Ajá, what is the meaning of revolution?
Revolución.
Ajá, what is the meaning of terrorist act?
Atentado.
Terroristas.
Acto terrorista. That's right, very good. What is the meaning? Let's go to the second one. What is the meaning of assassination?
Asesinato.
Asesinato. So even though, have you seen this word before? Have you seen all of these words before? Most of them. Have you seen, for example, the word assassination before? Did you know this word before? Maybe some of you did, maybe some of you didn't. But as you can see, with these words, it's not difficult to understand their meaning because they are actually pretty similar to what we have in Spanish. I mean, the form is similar, and these are not false friends. Estos no son falsos amigos, como library, que parece librería, pero es biblioteca, o como actually, que parece actualmente, pero es en realidad. These are not false friends. These are true friends. So easy, right? However, it's easy to understand them if you read them, maybe even if you hear them, but maybe not so easy to use them if you don't practice when you have to write them yourselves or when you have to say them yourselves, right? Tal vez si no les conocían de antes, es fácil entenderles al verlas, pero eso no significa que no les tengamos que estudiar un poco para poder usarlas, ¿no es cierto? Para poder nosotros producirlas cuando escribamos o cuando hablemos, right? For example, the word assassination. Maybe you didn't know it, now you know it, but anyway, you need to study it to use it on a sentence. You need to pronounce it correctly. Assassination, right? And you also need to remember the spelling. Remember double S here, right? So epidemic. Si les preguntaba antes de ver esto, ¿cómo se dice epidemia? Tal vez no hubiesen sabido que se dice de esta manera. Tal vez algunos sí, por supuesto, ¿no? Right? Epidemic. But now, even though they are easy to understand, that doesn't necessarily mean they are going to be so easy to write correctly or to pronounce correctly or to or even to remember when you use them. So you do have to study them a little bit. Okay? So, however, anyway, these are the ones that are similar to Spanish. And there is one that has nothing to do with Spanish. What is the meaning of the first one? What is the meaning of achievement? Do you know that one? Like, can you repeat that, please? Correct. Logro. Like you guys said achievement. Es un logro, ¿no? Un logro. For example, I don't know, think about an achievement in your life. What has been an achievement in your life? Think about that for a minute.
Graduate of high school.
That's right. Yeah, that's a good one. Your high school graduation, graduating from high school. Very good. That's a very important achievement. Very good, very good. So yeah, good. Achievement, un logro, right? Now, let's do this. Let's take a look at the sentences that we have on the right and put the correct letters on the left. Yes, sorry? Sorry, didn't get that? Anyway, never mind. So take a take a look at the sentences on the right, and please put the correct letters to match with the words on the left. Okay? Let's read them together. So A would be, in 2015, an earthquake hit Nepal and killed over 8,000 people. B, Fidel Castro established a communist government in Cuba in 1959. C, in 2015 or 2015, in 2015, scientists confirmed the existence of water on Mars. D, since the early 1980s, HIV has infected more than 70 million people. E, Barack Obama became the first African-American US president in 2009. F, John Lennon was killed by a man on December 8, 1980. G, in 2003, scientists completed the Human Genome Project. H, two men invaded and killed the journalists of the Charlie Hebdo newspaper in Paris in 2015. Okay? Any questions about this vocabulary? Any words or anything you don't know? Or any sentence that is a little bit hard to understand? Anything?
No.
No, it's all fine. What is the meaning of earthquake?
Terremoto.
Terremoto.
Correct, very good. So that's right, very good. So let's match these with the ones on the left, okay?
Teacher, what is a minimum cost?
Oh, can you repeat the word, please? Can you repeat the word, please? Se corta un poquito. Can you repeat the word, please? What is the meaning of? All right. So, what do you have in number one? Achievement, what letter?
G.
G.
G, that's right. What do you have in number two? Assassination.
H.
F.
F, yes. John Lennon was killed by a fan on December 8, 1980. Notice this is passive voice, right? Esto sería voz pasiva. Fue asesinado por un fan, right? Okay, very good. Number two. Now, number three, discovery.
C.
C. The existence of water on Mars. What is the meaning of Mars? Yes, Marte. Como
Marte.
Bruno Marte, no? Bruno Mars. That's right. Very good. Now, what is the meaning of? Oh, I'm sorry. Not what is the meaning, but what is the letter that goes with election?
E.
That's right. The first African American U.S. president in 2009. That's right. Epidemic.
D.
D.
D. That's right. Yes. HIV. Right. Remember that in Spanish we call it VIH, but in English we call it HIV. It is the same thing, but it is just because of the order of the words. Like what we were saying about the nouns, that happens here as well, right? In Spanish it is VIH, el virus de inmunodeficiencia humana, ¿cierto? HIV, human immunodeficiency virus, ¿no es cierto? Entonces son exactamente lo mismo, solo que el orden de las palabras cambia por de hecho, la misma razón que veíamos con lo de los sustantivos, ¿no es cierto? All right, very good. Y noten, en español le meto un D ahí, ¿no es cierto? Virus de inmunodeficiencia humana, en inglés no hay ese D. Human immunodeficiency virus. Okay, very good. Now, natural disaster.
A.
A.
A, very good. An earthquake hit Nepal. That's right. Revolution. Right?
B.
B. That's right. Of course, the communist government in Cuba when he overrun Batista, cuando derrocó a Batista, no? Right. Very good. A terrorist act.
H.
H. Of course. Do you remember this news? Do you remember when this happened? When the journalists were killed, the Charlie Hebdo journalists were killed. Do you remember that?
No.
Not so much. Well, it was a very popular piece of news on the around the internet and everywhere because Charlie Hebdo was a very political newspaper, and they had all these articles and cartoons, las típicas caricaturas políticas de los periódicos, no? So they would make ridicule of certain people, but those people turn out to be dangerous, right? So this is what happened. They wanted to quiet them down. All right, very good, very good. Now, let's practice, okay? Let's practice. Yes, question? Nope. All right. So let's practice a little bit of speaking, okay? I'm going to quiet down your microphones and I want you to practice. I want you to practice on your own. Quiero que practiquen por su cuenta un ratito este momento sin irse de aquí, por supuesto. I practice for a moment. I'm just going to make the microphones quiet so that everybody can practice. And please pay attention to these questions that we have here. All right, so you're going to be speaking about things like the ones we saw before, like discoveries, epidemic, revolutions, things like that. So discussion, a major impact, group work. Choose 2 or 3 historic events, for example, an election, an epidemic, an achievement, etc., that had an impact on your country. So, there's many things that have happened in our country, right? Many things in our history that have turned the tides of time in a different way, right? So, and discuss the questions. What happened or what was achieved? When did it happen? What was the immediate effect on your country or the world, or more in particular, your family? For example, I remember when in 1999, the world, the country, Ecuador, we changed from sucres to dollars and all the things that happened, or the time when the banks didn't allow us to take our money out of them, right? Things like that. So, did it change things permanently? How is life different now? So, you know, so many things that have happened in Ecuador. The assassination of Roldos, the strikes, las huelgas, and all these manifestations that were happening in October recently, right? So think of an event like that. Think of an event like that. Think about it for about 5 minutes and then tell me about it, okay? And then tell me about it. All right, so practice for about 5 minutes. So maybe an idea could be something like this, right? In the 80s, podría empezar por cuándo ocurrió, ¿no es cierto? In the 80s, the president, Jaime Roldós, was killed, right? Se me ocurre. En los 80s, el presidente Jaime Roldós fue asesinado. I think it was 1980, si no estoy mal. Creo que fue en el 80 o en el 81, right? So, in 19, podríamos decir en los 80 simplemente, si quieren. O si saben el año preciso, también. O si saben el momento, podrían empezar con eso, ¿no? In the 80s, in October, in 1999, and then tell me what happened. And also, let's speak about these other things, right? What was the immediate effect on your country? All those things, okay? Okay, guys. So let me open up your microphones again. I'm gonna activate everybody's microphone. And who would like to speak a little bit about this? Any event that had a major impact on Ecuador?
Me, teacher.
All right, please.
I want to try.
Mhm.
Okay. In 2019, a Chinese man ate a bat and got COVID. In my
Yeah.
country, the contagion occurred on March 29, when the president decreed a state of emergency, obviously affected with many deaths, and the comfort zone of all individuals in the world radically changed.
Great, excellent, very good, very good, very good. That was great. Mhm. And yes, that is the situation that we are living right now. So we've been ever since that moment. We've been in this crisis, world crisis, right? Very good, very good. Thank you very much. That was very good. Anybody else?
Can I speak, teacher?
Sure.
Okay. On March 8 in 1999, the country suffered one of its greatest crises called the bank holiday, which
Mhm.
greatly affects people living many without money and damaging the economy of a country by freezing money values.
Hmm, exactly. Yes. Very good. Very good. And yes, that is excellent. Excellent. Thank you very much. That is actually one of the things that I was thinking about when I thought about some historic events that had a major impact, especially in recent times, right? Well, when I say recent times, I'm speaking about the last 40 years or something like that. But yeah, exactly. And speaking about what you say, I do remember that my family suffered quite a lot from that because first we couldn't get the money out of the banks. We couldn't get our money out of the banks, and then there was also this massive devaluation of our currency, right? También hubo una devaluación tenaz de la moneda. Dollarization vino la dolarización, but anyway. But anyway, I remember that my dad has sold some properties that he had, so he had the money in the bank, but then the amount of money that he got back from that was not equivalent to the amount of money that he lost, right? So yeah, that.
Yes.
But yeah, very good, very well said, very well said. Okay, guys, that was great.
It was a change for my family and all families in the country. I think this.
Yes, it most definitely was. And thank you very much. That was very good. Yeah, exactly. It was actually a tragedy, a national tragedy in many ways. There were many people who needed the money for emergencies, like getting treatment from medical treatment and things like that, and they weren't able to pay for those expenses. They couldn't afford medical bills and everything. So yeah, it was terrible for quite a while there. Okay, but very good. Thank you guys. Those interventions were really good. Now we have these. We're gonna do these as homework. Okay, we're gonna do this as a homework. Number 7, writing a biography. Okay, so find information about a person who has had a major influence on the world or your country. Answer these questions, then write a biography. What is this person famous for? How and when did he or she become famous? And what are his or her important achievements? Okay, now, you don't need to write these questions explicitly. No tienen que escribir estas preguntas, pero en el párrafo que escriban ustedes sí tienen que incorporar la información que respondería a estas preguntas. O sea, no es necesario que copien las preguntas y vayan poniendo las respuestas abajito de las preguntas. No, la idea es que escriban un párrafo, pero que sí tenga esa información, que el párrafo sí me diga por qué es famosa esta persona, cuándo se volvió famosa, ¿no es cierto? ¿Cuáles son sus logros? All right? So think about somebody, and please, there is something very important, and I hope you get it. I'm sure you already know it, but please avoid plagiarism because it is not acceptable, ¿ok? Lo que sí les pediría es que por favor eviten el plagio, que no es aceptable. ¿A qué me refiero? Me refiero con plagio. Concretamente, googlear la biografía de alguien, hacer copy-paste y poner. O así no sea copy-paste, hacerle solo cambios mínimos y ponerle en el trabajo. Pues no, eso no nos va a servir. Ahora, por supuesto, van a ustedes posiblemente a tener que leer un poco y ahí sí, pues válganse de cualquier medio, así sea Wikipedia, todo bien, sí. You can read about, the biography of a person. Les aconsejo que lean de algunas fuentes distintas, all right? And then after you read, you type your own thing. Luego de que hayan leído, escriban su propio trabajo, ¿sí? Pero no copiando, tomando datos, eso sí, por supuesto, eso está bien, pero que sean ustedes quienes redacten, que no sea un copy-paste de lo que ya hay en Internet. All right? So let's make it short, just a paragraph, okay? Just a paragraph. So it can be 120 and 150 words, de entre 120 y 150 palabras. Eso suena como un montón, pero si ustedes escriben una hoja de papel ministro de cuaderno entera, esas son unas entre 600 y 700 palabras, ¿sí? Entonces solamente un párrafo de entre 120 y 150 palabras, all right? So that's gonna be it. Por favor, pondrán atención a la puntuación, a cuándo usar mayúsculas y a todo aquello, ¿sí? All right? So that's gonna be your homework for tomorrow. I'm gonna put it on the virtual campus as a task right now. Les voy a poner en el campus virtual como tarea este ratito. Si no lo pusiera este instante, de todas maneras ya saben cuál es el deber, ya pueden empezar a hacerlo, pero ya lo voy a poner en el campus de este momento. Igual hasta mañana a la 1 de la tarde. You can do it until tomorrow, until 1 p.m. All right? Is that good?
Yes.
Yes.
All right. Thank you very much. Thank you all for your attention. Thank you for your interventions that were really good. And have a nice afternoon and see you tomorrow.
Thank you.
Thank you, teacher. See you tomorrow.
You're welcome. Thank you very much.
Teacher.
You're welcome. You're welcome, everybody. Thank you.